Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Canadian Passive Investing Show. I'm your host, 𝗖𝗽𝗶 𝗖𝗽, and I'm joined by my co-host, 𝗖𝗽𝗓 Biniaz. We have another great show for you guys today. Please like and subscribe as it helps us build our channel and allows us to keep bringing you great content and expert guest speakers. Now, our mission here is to empower investors to create financial freedom through passive real estate investing. So today we're joined by Savannah Arroyo.
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 You missed the Y there.
Savannah is the Networth nurse. She's a full-time registered nurse in Los Angeles, California. She uses her skills as a leader in the healthcare operations to manage multifamily syndications. She also helps busy medical professionals create passive income through real estate investing. Savannah uses mindset tools and goal setting to elevate herself within the healthcare system, as well as create a real estate business. So we believe Savannah will bring immense value to our audience to create financial freedom through real estate investing, especially to Canadian doctors, which unfortunately don't have a pension. So welcome, Savannah.
Welcome, Savannah.
Hi, yeah, thank you. I'm super excited to be here.
Fantastic. Savannah, I was just going to say, now how exciting is this? You're a full-time registered nurse and a leader in helping medical professionals create passive income through real estate investing, known as the Networth nurse. If you could please start off by telling our viewers about yourself and how you started building wealth through real estate syndication, please.
Yeah, definitely. So I am from Northern California. I grew up there, and even from an early age, I knew I always wanted to do nursing. So pretty much right out of high school, I went in to pursue my nursing degree at Sacramento State University. I graduated with my bachelor's in nursing from there in 2013, and I worked in a couple different specialties within healthcare. And even as a new nurse, I was just naturally gravitating towards leadership type positions. I was doing process improvement projects at hospitals I was working at. And so shortly after, I went back to school and I got my master's degree in nursing leadership and administration. So I've worked in a couple of different administrative roles. Right now, I'm overseeing multiple departments at a hospital here in LA. And my real estate journey started at the beginning of 2020. I was on maternity leave with my second daughter, and just with a growing family, my husband and I were thinking about our daughter's future and just our ability with our full-time jobs to be able to go to swim lessons and soccer practice and ballet practice and field trips. And we work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and we're wondering how that was going to fit in our schedule. And we really wanted to just look for ways to kind of create some time flexibility, and investing was one of those ways, and especially real estate investing provides a lot of different opportunities. So we went from investing like 15 to 20% of our paychecks towards our retirement in the stock market through Fidelity and American funds. And we just felt super discouraged that we couldn't touch this money until we were 65, especially with a growing family and thinking about different expenses that would come up. And so we really geared everything in towards real estate investing. We began educating ourselves. We started off investing in single family homes, and then shortly after we switched into multifamily syndications, and that's what we're doing right now.
Awesome. Great story. Great story. But I'm guessing that the leadership role, your master's actually helped with management and starting a business as well. That was a great background to have, if I'm guessing correctly.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Operations involves a lot of time management, organizational skills, constant communications. I feel like at work, at the hospital, I'm putting out fires all day. Like from the minute I walk in, I have doctors and nurses and caregivers coming up to me and telling me their problems, either broken equipment, staffing, scheduling. So there's always something going on that I'm constantly putting out fires, and it involves a lot of great communication and organizational skills.
Absolutely. And especially in that setting where you're literally saving lives, the checklists you guys use and the systems you have. Now, when you incorporate those systems into business, it gives you an extra edge. So very exciting to talk to you more about that.
The systems in place is all about what you need to run a company. And that's the next point I have. Maybe you could tell us about your company, the Networth Nurse, and how do you help investors and solve pain points for them?
Yeah, definitely. So this is something after my husband and I did our first multifamily syndication deal. As we started or continuing having conversations with investors, I realized that I was constantly referring them to other people's marketing material, other people's educational content. And I realized that I needed to start creating my own YouTube videos, my own blogs, my own educational material. And even now when I still have conversations with investors, I always tell them to seek out additional educational opportunities. It shouldn't always come from one source, but it's really allowed me to have this platform that now when I have conversations with especially medical professionals, people I work with, doctors, nurses, that I can provide them who aren't really knowledgeable in real estate, like basic foundational principles and return metrics. Now I have this platform through the Net Worth Nurse that I'm able to refer them back to so they can start educating themselves on how real estate works.
Incredible. Incredible. Maybe you can briefly also touch on, since you've done a syndication, just to kind of briefly go over viewers who might not know what it is bringing on the knowledge and the capital needed to do a project. In real estate, you have a general partner who finds the deal and manages the deal and adds value. And you have the limited partners who are silent partners who bring the equity in it. How was that process to go to your, I'm guessing, go to your inner circle, go to your, your connections and let them know that, hey, I've been in the medical business for a long time. I've been in the medical practice as a nurse, but now I'm involved in real estate. How was that transition? And did you face any hurdles to convert or bring, family, friends, business associates on to invest with you in your first syndicated deal?
Yeah, definitely. It's a big transition from talking about nursing related stuff all day at work to now approaching colleagues or people I work with and telling them that I'm investing in real estate. But honestly, it's not something that I push on people. I usually just wait for opportunities to come up. But constantly, like in the hospital setting, the doctors and nurses are always talking about, like right now, cryptocurrency, right? Like that's been going on for the last few months and they'll be constantly talking about that. And I'll just kind of like throw in my perspective of like, oh, well, that kind of seems like gambling and I'm investing in real estate and this is kind of what I'm doing. Or like, even if people ask me, how was your weekend? It was like, oh, I went to view like a new apartment building that we're looking to buy. So I constantly just kind of talk about what I'm doing in real estate. And then people who are interested have follow-up questions or they want to learn more. And I'm able to kind of have an open conversation about what we're doing. And like you said, the syndication process, it's like a perfect fit between operators like myself who really like and enjoy the operational aspect of taking down an apartment deal, and the passive investors who are usually like medical professionals that I work with who are super busy. They don't have a lot of time to be learning about real estate, going out and buying their own property. And it's like the perfect connection between them wanting to passively invest in real estate deals, but still get amazing returns. And so we've kind of created this perfect synergistic relationship.
Amazing.
And
Amazing.
I love that you says that, they have the talk in the background and you kind of, educate them on why multifamily is on the top of your list. But another thing I wanted to point out is because you're in the healthcare industry, you can actually relate to them on an emotional level as well and be able to communicate with them. And that probably gives them a lot of ease in the back of their minds because, it's definitely coming from a real estate background to try to talk to a doctor and for them to really understand what it is that we're talking about. You have to kind of hit them on the emotional side too. So I'm sure you find that really helps you a lot.
Yeah, the know, like, and trust, the fundamentals of, the relationship between the operator or the general partner and an investor exists in your case already because you are in the same space and same industry as many of your investors. That's great.
Yeah, and that's kind of what drives investors to invest with you. So maybe you can touch on what is your nurturing process, as it's a very important component of syndications, and maybe tell us how you nurture your investors.
Yeah, definitely. I love that you mentioned trust because that is the biggest component to get someone to invest with you. And I do have a built-in trust with a lot of my colleagues and medical professionals because I am one. I'm still working 40 hours a week at the hospital. And so we can relate on a different level outside of real estate. And honestly, when I'm talking to a lot of healthcare professionals, we'll talk about other stuff besides real estate. We'll talk about, what's going on in the healthcare system as a whole. And so that was honestly really big for me, even launching my brand, The Net Worth Nurse, as my husband and I started pursuing multifamily syndications and realizing that we were going to go out and start raising money from people. My husband and I don't come from a sales background. We don't really kind of have that in us to go out and sell stuff. It just didn't feel natural for us. And so for the best way, when it came down to launching a brand and launching a business and working on our marketing, to launch the Net Worth Nurse really allowed me to do it in the most genuine way possible. So now I'm going out and I feel like I'm not pushing anything on anyone or being super salesy. Like I'm really going out and just sharing what I'm doing specifically with other healthcare professionals. And I appeal to a specific avatar who I can relate to. And it really allows me to do things in a very genuine fashion. And then I attract like the right people to invest in our deals.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Why don't we dive into what's so exciting about multifamily syndicated investments and why investors should educate themselves on this model? Savannah, maybe in your opinion, why is multifamily at the top of your list for alternative investments?
Yeah. Well, I think starting off in single family helped kind of make that comparison because we were able to see kind of what cash flow we were getting and what type of returns we were getting on a single family home. And then going into multifamily where you have multiple tenants now paying rent, you have huge opportunities on a larger volume of scale to decrease expenses by implementing more energy efficient fixtures or more efficient property management companies. Like, because it's such a larger scale, you're able to kind of manipulate the numbers, the income and expenses specifically to really drive your net operating income throughout the business strategies. So for us, I mean, it started off, and I always tell investors who are looking to invest with us, like, start with the returns. Like, if you don't know an Airbnb from a single family home, from land to commercial, start with the returns. You need to educate yourself on what is a return on investment or an ROI, internal rate of return, IRR, what is cash flow. And then when you have a foundation of the return metrics, then it's easy to go into different strategies, like I mentioned, Airbnb and land and commercial, going into them. And now when you're looking at different investment opportunities or proposals or evaluating deals, you have a solid foundation to be able to compare apples to apples when you're using the same return metrics.
Great. Yeah. And on that educational side, when educating investors, in our case, here in Canada and in Vancouver and Toronto, the two main cities, the rent to value ratios are so low that on most conventional real estate investing asset classes, the investor is in negative cash flow. If it's a condo in downtown Vancouver or a single family, the rent to value ratios are very low. So that is also an educational process we go through to show the type of returns that exist in the US, because the rent to value ratios are high. In some cases, 1%, a month's rent equals to 1% of an asset value, where the same calculation here in Vancouver, you're at 0.2%. So it's important to kind of teach that, but it's great kind of item to cover.
Yeah, and now we're from Vancouver, and you being from Los Angeles, maybe you can let us know what markets do you primarily focus on?
Yeah, so I mean, exactly what you were saying, like the different strategies, especially in Los Angeles, sometimes don't make sense as opposed to looking at different markets. But that's the amazing thing about technology and the ability to do a lot of stuff remotely. I think 2020 and COVID has kind of taught us that there you do have the ability, and the systems are created to be able to do a lot of this work from out of state. So we originally started investing in Atlanta, Georgia for a lot of different reasons. We love that market, but we were then just leveraging, we still have never been to Atlanta, Georgia, but we're leveraging tools and technology to create a foundation over there, an understanding of the market, a knowledge base of what's going on. And so we have single family homes over there. And then we have 3 apartment complexes up in Oregon. And Oregon, we really just started looking up there because I have family up there. And when we were learning about multifamily and how to underwrite these apartment buildings, we were just getting practice and doing deal after deal after deal, just underwriting the numbers, just so we could become knowledgeable and aware of different numbers and what you need to consider moving from market to market, because they are very different. And we were really just doing it to get practice. And then as we started analyzing deals and talking to people and creating connections, we started looking at deals with amazing returns and great numbers. And so we ended up pursuing really a lot of our investments are up in Oregon.
Great.
Fantastic.
No, that idea of remote investing, and there's a new breed, new generation coming into real estate. The kind of old mindset is changing a bit. There's a lot of stuff able to be done, online and remotely, as long as there is somewhat of a boots on the ground that kind of relays information back to you. And I'm sure you guys have that in place. Great.
Now, I was noticing on your website that you have several books kind of that you were suggesting. Maybe you can share with our viewers a book that you believe would add significant value for an investor looking to start their investment journey. Because we all know books are very important.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, I have so many because I love
I
books.
know, I see.
I think for the biggest one, Financial Freedom Through Real Estate Investing by Michael Blanc, that yellow book, that was really what changed our mindset into multifamily syndications, and specifically why that is such a superior investment as opposed to alternative investment strategies. That one really was a good basic blueprint of kind of what it looks like and what it takes to take down some of those buildings.
Right
Great,
on.
great.
That's a good
And
one.
is there a current project that you're looking at, or kind of what is in the future for your group and your company? What is kind of your scalability plans, if you may?
Yeah, definitely. My husband and I are closing on an 18 unit and up in Oregon that we're syndicating out right now. We have done 3 deals in the last 6 months. So we're going to kind of take a little break. I'm going to get a little bit more strategic about my marketing. I'm launching a meetup for healthcare professionals interested in real estate investing. So really trying to create a good investor base and a community and a solid foundation for us as we move forward in future deals. And then also just creating and harvesting a lot of our relationships that we have with other real estate professionals to look to potentially partner to scale up our portfolio. As of now, we've done like a 12 unit, a 24 unit, and an 18 unit. And that's been a perfect sweet spot for us to be able to kind of take down on our own. And there are smaller buildings that we're able to manage on our own as well, but we are looking to scale through partnerships.
Excellent,
That's
excellent,
excellent.
awesome.
All right, now Savannah, I guess it's time to have some fun.
Oh man.
Let's start the next segment of our show, and that is the 10 championship rounds to financial freedom. So you're
ready.
You're ready?
My hands are getting sweaty just thinking about it, but I'm ready.
First thing that comes to your mind. All right, let's go. So who's the most influential person in your life?
My sister.
What is the #1 book you recommend?
Think and Grow Rich, a huge, huge mindset book.
If you had the opportunity to travel back in time, what advice would you give your younger self?
Oh man, I would probably say to live in the moment and to maybe stop worrying about the future or what other people think. That was a huge shift for me, having 2 girls and turning 30. I just stopped caring what other people think, and it's allowed me to do so much more in my life.
What is the best investment you've ever made?
That first one, just taking that first step, that first investment property that we bought, and then the ball has just been rolling from there.
What is the worst investment you've ever made?
I would say just kind of the traditional financing of putting 15 to 20% of all my paychecks towards my retirement accounts, thinking that that was the only way to save for retirement.
Now, how much would you need in the bank to retire today? What's your number?
Oh man, I have never thought of that before. My husband and I have an ambitious lifestyle and 2 growing kids. So I would say, I don't know, maybe like 10 million.
You'll reach that and break that in no time.
Of course.
Yeah.
If you could have dinner with someone dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh, I would say right now, Glennon Doyle. She's an author. She just released the book Untamed. I'm just loving everything she's doing right now. I would love to meet her.
If you weren't doing what you're doing today, what would you be doing now?
Probably some sort of nonprofit fostering with kids. That's just a huge passion of mine. And even like a 10-year goal for my husband and I, once we get really solidified on our real estate, that's like an end goal of like being able to do that with children.
Beautiful. Book smarts or street smarts?
Ooh. I'm going to fall on book smarts.
Great. If you had $1 million cash and you had to make one investment today, what would it be?
In an apartment building, hands down.
Great.
Right on.
Awesome.
There we
awesome.
go.
That was
Great.
it. That was great. That's a wrap. Hey, why don't you let people know how they can reach you? So we'll include your information below this video, but please go ahead and let people know how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, definitely. So the Networth Nurse, you can find me under the Networth Nurse on all social media handles. So that's Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram. I am super active on there. I'm constantly posting pictures of what I'm doing in real estate, also stuff from the hospital and what I'm doing as a nurse, and even some cute pictures of my kids. I share it all on there. I'm just very interactive with my community. And if anything I've said has been remotely interesting, please reach out to me. I would love to connect.
Amazing.
Fantastic, Savannah.
Thank you, Savannah. Thanks for taking the time and being with us. It definitely added a lot of value to people looking to, reach financial freedom through real estate investing. And we really appreciate you being on here today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.